Girls, children of all ages. Your daddy's home. I gave the keys to the car up. And I apologize once again, but it was my fault. We were trying something new. We're going to be trying something new now. We're going to increase the intensity. At least I am. I'm joined by my right-hand man, my Robin to my Batman, I don't even know any more sidekicks. Mike Gatling. Top three sidekicks. Name them. R2D2, is that a sidekick?
No, it's got to be Han Solo, one.
Well, Han Solo was not a sidekick.
Yes, he was.
Chewbacca was Han Solo's sidekick.
Okay, you got levels of sidekicks.
No, you do not. You do not have levels of sidekick. We stepped
right into the Brent Hazzard yelling show. Right? It's like immediately.
I'm sorry, from Greenville, we have passion. Okay, in Cleveland. I'm sorry, let me talk.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, wait. Sidekicks. Top sidekicks of all time.
Goose.
You just saw Top Gun.
That doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Top sidekicks of all time.
Tonto.
Tonto's in the top. He's up there.
Got it.
Tonto. Robin. I'm going to say Robin is number one sidekick of all time.
I'm
Batman
okay with that.
and Robin.
Got it. Okay, I'm okay with that. Who's another one? Let's see.
I'm going to have to Google sidekicks. But anyway, we're going to get into it. What we're going to do is start trying to increase the energy. You're going to see a little bit what we do for a living. We're going to pick, we've pre-selected several topics, and we're going to have 3 minutes each to argue our side. We might be for the position we're arguing for personally. We might be against it. We just have been assigned positions in debates. Then we might go to the comments. We might need to get to a round two. But we're going to try to pick up the intensity and show you what we do for a living. But before we do that, I've got to Google this now. Top sidekicks of all time. God, I can't believe we can only think of a few. Chewbacca is the first thing it says. Chewie. Samwise Gamgee, Lord of the Rings.
What is Gromit?
Gromit, Wallace and Gromit.
Goose, Top Gun.
Short Round.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Cletus Snow, Smokey and the Bandit. And then Sam Casablanca.
That's a reach. Is Sam really the sidekick?
I don't know. But anyway, we could argue top. No, wait, you're saying who? It's saying Rick and Morty. Morty's new. Rick and Morty's new.
I watched some of it after you and Richard told me to watch some of it.
Yeah, if you have not checked out Rick and Morty, it's a great cartoon.
I did watch Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick is great.
Hilarious.
I did teach you that. But anyway, let's get into it. We're going to toss a coin to see who goes first. It's going to go, whoever goes first will alternate going back and forth. We do want your comments going to the topics. While I toss the coin, the first topic of the evening, City Council. Who's to blame for the garbage fiasco? City Council, Mayor. I have City Council, you have Mayor.
Yes.
Call it in the air. Hang on, call it in the air.
Heads.
Tails. I'm going to let you go first.
I thought, no. I think you go first if it's tails.
It's my option in my show.
You just want me to go first.
No, that's fine. Let's let the leader. You're right. Batman goes first. Robin stays in the car. Okay, hang on. Little sound check there. This is a new concept that might completely suck, but I think we've hit our bottom. I think it's only going up now. I think the Mike Gatling was the bottom.
Insults are just...
I don't think that's an insult telling the truth.
Okay.
Is it?
You heard
Mr. Producer, was last week our worst show ever?
Worst show.
Jesus. Guys, gonna have to...
You're a little bit too white for the show.
I'm gonna have to reevaluate my feelings. Jesus.
I don't know if you can reevaluate them.
I'm about to go to therapy.
We have a
You know
3-minute
somebody?
timer. You want to give me some silence over here for Craig?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know you're not this used to being this close to greatness.
Oh my God.
Anyway, starting the timer. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to tell the jury today is why the city council is not to blame for the garbage fiasco that we're in. And if you do not know about the fiasco, what I'm talking about, multiple lawsuits. What I'm talking about is Richard's disposal not getting paid. What I'm talking about is allegations of bribery. Let's start here. First of all, when you talk about the Jackson City Council, first thing comes to mind is stability. You're talking about years where we're talking about Kenny Stokes, whether you're talking about Ashley Foote, you're talking about diversity, but you're also talking about stability. They've been there for years. So even for them to have a decision, by definition, they have to come together of 7 distinct minds and opinions. 2, I mentioned diversity, but also the city council's not the one running to court every time. The city council's not the one that created a brand new veto where you veto a negative. That's never been recognized by any court in Mississippi. The city council did not make any baseless accusations of fraud or bribery toward the mayor without any proof. And he just said, in my opinion. But more importantly, the city council never awarded a COVID contract. And there might be accusations of no one doing anything about the COVID contract. To me, that is the definition, or that's the reason why we're in this place. And the city council did not ignore the law that you can only hire people by contract that's been approved by the city council. So with all this said, when we're talking about the $800,000 that Richard's disposal should have been paid, when we're talking about the unnecessary legal fees, I'm going to have to say it was the mayor's lack of experience. I'll go ahead and say it, immaturity to sit there and negotiate a good contract. The city council knew when you don't have water to drink, drinking another plastic bottle tonight, when you're setting records for crime, you got to have some stability in the city, and waste management was that stability. And they didn't want to change with so many other changes going on during a pandemic. So the city council, 7 distinct people, were the ones acting wisely, intelligently, professionally, and they are not the ones to blame for anything to do with the garbage contract. I will yield my time to my opponent.
First thing I want to note is that Brent actually had to type his notes into a laptop and bring them here today because his...
crucified for being prepared.
No, I'm telling you...
Let me pause because I just want to be crucified for being prepared for my audience, for my listeners.
I just wanted to make sure people knew that you had to make notes. You couldn't keep it all up here. I guess it's your age. Maybe if you got on testosterone, it would help.
Are you on testosterone right now?
I am.
Is that what's going on with that
It's
gray
coursing
hair?
through my veins.
Maybe it could course through an argument. I mean, let me go ahead and tell you how they judge a debate winner. The first one to attack the messenger. What you just saw was me outclassing some boy from Cleveland. Would you like to start?
Sure. All you do is ad hominem attacks, by the way. We'll go ahead and say what it is. Come on. That's it. That's all you do.
I literally went through specific.
No. Just
that
now.
made completely logical sense.
No, it's okay. With your memory problems, it's okay.
My memory problems. Hang on a second. I think technically we have.
You've already screwed. You already screwed it up. You broke the timer.
I broke the display.
You broke the timer.
We were going
I'll just use
so
my
well.
phone. It's okay.
Hang on. We might have to get the producer in here.
He broke the timer.
I literally broke. I've got a flashing 1 there, Malcolm. I don't know what is going on. We have literally. There we go. For those who want to.
What did you do?
I have no clue what I did.
How did you do that?
I don't know how I did that. I can't do everything, Mike.
I know you can't.
I can't be litigator, paid assassin, Batman, Han Solo.
Got it.
I'm ready. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Begin.
All right, so I guess I'll start by addressing your points one by one. Number one, true or false? Was Waste Management contract up?
Are you giving a closing, or you asking?
I'm asking. I'm asking you a question.
Oh,
was there a contract up for renewal?
Yes.
What's wrong with getting some other contractors in there to put bids up?
Oh, are you making an argument, or
I'm
are you
asking.
just
I'm
asking
asking.
me
I'm asking because it seems like you don't want
competition.
competition for Waste Management. It seems like you were in Waste Management's corner there. But don't you? I mean, isn't it important to have more minority contractors with the city?
Do I need to make your argument for you?
I'm just
Do you
asking.
suck that bad?
I'm just asking.
I mean, once again,
Do you like waste? Are you a Waste Management crony?
I like stability.
What about what's wrong with Richards? Why are they unstable?
Because they're new by definition. Anything
They literally handle the garbage pickup in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. They're a New Orleans company. They have the capacity to handle Jackson, and they were going to be able. Were they the cheapest?
I think they was second cheapest, my understanding.
Were they under Waste Management or over Waste?
That's my understanding.
They were under Waste Management.
No, so you're just going to cross-examine me instead of speak to the jury. That's okay. Just why maybe you suck at trial.
Hey,
Maybe.
you hit me another one. Okay, so number one, as far as the veto goes and the running to court every time, we need a new garbage pickup company. We didn't have it, and when there's a dispute, do you not go to court? You're a lawyer. You go to court.
Are you asking or are you arguing? 'Cause
I'm
it
doing
seems like
both.
you're confused what we're doing here.
I'm doing both. I'm saying if there's a dispute, don't you go to court?
I would say that's what we get paid for.
Okay. And he went to court, and a court, actually, you were wrong. A court did put in an order that he could veto the decision by the city council.
And
the
then
veto the negative.
And then he rescinded. The judge rescinded the order. It was so bad.
And so
Jaleesa Benton says, "Speak, Mike."
well, I think
Why is he hiring one of them?
Which one?
City council, Derek's council. Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to talk, and you're talking.
Go ahead.
Just like we always do. As far as
You've got 38 seconds of this crap.
I'm having to take a position that's ridiculous.
No,
I mean, come on. And actually, when you flipped the coin, you said it was the city council's fault and not the mayor's. And I was not prepared for that.
no, I was defending the city council.
I understand, but when you posed the subject, you said, "Who's to blame, the city council or the mayor?" And you said, "I'm taking the city council." So I'm like, "Great." So now I am tongue tied because it's a
You were not prepared.
it's a ridiculous. It's a ridiculous position.
Okay, so you can see that one.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, that's entertaining. You just suck. But anyway,
All right.
moving on. Oh God, such low energy. That's your new nickname. You know what this is Batman, and you're low energy. You
Just-
zap the energy out of the opponent.
You keep saying that. You got to have a good nickname for it. Just call me like the wet blanket or something like that.
How about just the vacuum? Because you suck. Anyway, you go first. Inflation. Now, what is your understanding of this debate? Who's to blame? No, you go first. There's no flip.
I thought we were going to do
it. Was just initial.
Oh, okay.
Just
sorry.
once.
What's my
Your topic is it's Biden's fault.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead. Hang on. Let me set you up for 3 minutes. Try to bring a little heat. Try to get to, you're on 0. Maybe try to get to 2. I'm over here on like -7. I mean, I'm over here like 100.
Well, because you did all that cocaine before you came in here.
Yeah, Coke. You ready? Why inflation is Biden's fault?
Okay, you ready?
I'm just got to take on the world to try to find a competitor.
Let's go.
Begin.
All right. Yeah, I would say it's definitely partially his fault. That $1.9 trillion inflation cannon that he shot at a $480 billion output problem is by and large why prices went up. If you look at the increases in prices over his presidency, it really didn't start to take off, and it did take off like crazy after they injected all that money into the economy, which that's how inflation works. If you put too much money into with the economy with output issues and supply chain problems, you're going to have a massive increase in prices, which is what we've got. And I mean, that's the result. And there's no, I could talk for 2 minutes on that, but there's really nothing else to add because that's what happened. Do you have an alternative?
Are you serving your time?
Yes.
God, I'm going to stop personal attacking you because that's not what we agreed to do. I will attack the topic and I will talk to the jury because I'm a paid assassin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not Biden's fault for inflation. What it is, first of all, Biden did not cause the pandemic of COVID-19. Okay, he wasn't even in office. Second of all, he did not make every company go to just-in-time inventory. And that's one of the problems is we don't have any inventory stored because it's inefficient. Everything has to be created immediately to save money. He didn't make companies outsource their productions to third world countries that got hit harder than COVID than we did. He didn't make anybody do that. He also didn't make Putin invade Ukraine. Now, yes, there is some administrative issues in hindsight that you could blame to the current president, but anybody can be blamed in hindsight. I thought having Mike Gatling on this show was a good idea, but you can tell. But let me go ahead. The Federal Reserve didn't raise interest rates when we all saw inflation coming. And what we're really going here? Well, Joe Biden didn't have anything to do with the Fed buying first toxic assets and now bonds. And what if you don't know what that is? That's another way to control the money supply so we as Americans do not feel the pinch or the hurt of certain economic swings. And that's truly what we're doing here now. And that's truly the issue. And it's not Joe Biden. We have gone into a society where we don't want to recognize for every up there's a down. We have gone into a society, and that's not Biden's fault. We've gone in society where we think it's just supposed to be blue skies and just free food. There's got to be a price to pay. When you have a global pandemic, you're going to have some negatives coming out of it. When you print off money constantly, there's going to be some negatives to it. So no, it's not Joe Biden's fault. It's when there's a global pandemic and people are buying new houses. That was the warning sign. When the real estate market went crazy during one of the greatest pandemics since 1800s, maybe we should have slowed it down. Maybe we should have re-examined it. But not us. We don't want one helping of pie. We want the whole damn pie. So now we're going to blame the guy who inherits our fat, lazy cells, and he can't satisfy us enough? But it must be Biden's fault. He just got here. So yes, he deserves a little bit, but here's the problem. Biden doesn't want to tell us the news. We're all fat and lazy, and someone needs to tell us to go on the diet. Well, the good news is the economy is. I conclude. This is like Golden State playing Murr Junior High in the finals.
It had some good teams.
Which one? Little Gat. They're still hoping you speak. Mr. Sims says not cocaine. Oh, I don't do drugs. I grew up with alcoholics and I stay away. And I've dated some individuals who've done quite a bit, but that's a whole different story.
Well, we can talk about that later.
I mean, you can check that out on my TikTok or on my Facebook or Instagram.
Well, you got girls that you dated, or
no? I haven't got
stories?
To that point there. I've got the stories about the Jenkins boys.
Well, you got stories about the girls you dated?
There's coming.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought that you had I thought you were having some problems in that area.
No. Oh, sunshine. There's a lot of problems I have in my life. Staying in a relationship, dating girls is not a problem.
Well, you had a more. I mean, if you're looking at like.
Once again, are you just trying to attack me because you?
No, I was just saying supply and demand. When Hooters closed, and then when Twin Peaks closed, you had no more fishing holes.
Mike, once again, sunshine. This is Fat Brent. Okay, I'm just telling you, this is fact
model
right
Brent.
here.
Where's
I'm just saying.
Where's Magnum PI Brent?
No, that was 20 years ago. Okay, but he's gone with the hair. But moving back, look, Jaleesa's going for you. Why you suck the world apart?
That's okay.
But anyway, I mean,
she's got good taste.
It's actually like, you're like the mascot people are cheering for. You're Rudy. That's your new nickname, Rudy. You're the underdog, man.
I'll be the underdog.
He
got a chance to play in the big game. Made the tackle. Actually didn't, but whatever.
Gas prices. Big oil. To blame or not. My understanding is I got big oil is the reason. I'm defending big oil. You're saying that the reason to blame. You got the easy argument here. Are we straight?
Go ahead.
You first this time, right?
Is it my turn? I'm just going to go with what I had, what I thought. Let's see. So you think big oil is to blame?
Mm-mm. I'm saying big oil is. I'm defending big oil. I thought is what you text me.
Okay.
Which one did you go with? Go with what you have. And
I was
going.
I was going with it's not big oil.
Okay, that's exactly.
Okay, yeah.
I'm defending big oil.
Okay.
Lord. Were you drinking farm chemical in Cleveland?
I'd literally text you exactly what
exactly, and I've got it right. I'm defending big oil.
You're never wrong, but you don't read.
Literally on this show. My co-host, Rudy, wrong pick. Okay? I literally said that. I made some
You were literally wrong last week. You're wrong all the time.
I was wrong picking you for letting you drive the car, the franchise. We're gonna have to. Do you want to start this debate?
I'm ready.
You ain't started yet. Can we get a little excitement here?
Oh my God!
Can you get a little passion?
I'm passionate about oil. Yeah,
sir.
Let's do this.
We've got to break to a commercial. When we come back with this experiment, we'll see if Mike can tell us if gas prices are big oil's fault.
SGECOVIDsolutions.com is paving the way forward for a safer city government delivering cutting-edge biosecurity and biosafety protocols developed internationally by top virologists and scientists using an all-natural cleaning solution, killing COVID-19 on contact like no other product on the international market. For more information, please call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at SGECOVIDsolutions.com. Let SGECOVIDsolutions.com provide innovative rapid facilities testing and world-class state-of-the-art biorisk safety protocols for all of your coronavirus needs. Call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at sgecovidsolutions.com.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the We Believe Global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at webelieve.global.
Debating off air. Mike is debating whether he should pull a Reggie or not, or should we call it a polo? Is that too soon?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. But anyway, that might have been too soon. That might have been in bad taste. Malcolm, was that in bad taste? Anyway, you're defending why gas price, or you're saying that big oil should be blamed for gas prices, the gas companies. Go ahead, sir.
No, I'm saying they should not, and you're saying they should. That's what we just talked about.
Go ahead. I'll pick whatever side. I will smack you with whatever hand you want me to smack. Okay. Go ahead with your argument.
So there is some validity to the fact that oil prices or the actual the amount charged at the pump. It has to do with crude oil prices. Crude oil prices aren't set by the companies, and they are not set by any one person. They're set in the global marketplace, and oil companies have little to. They are a price taker, not a price maker when it comes to crude oil prices. So they're kind of stuck with what they have in the global marketplace. Second thing is these nonsensical kind of that we should have this stakeholder capitalism, which doesn't exist in reality and is not something that is legally enforced or can be legally enforced because of the fact that we have what's called shareholder capitalism. So if you're a publicly traded company, you have to do what's best for your shareholders. You cannot do what's best for what they call stakeholders. So the fact that Exxon, Chevron, BP that are charging the prices they're charging, number one, that's a price they just have to take. And number two, even if they had some input on it, they can't do anything that's less than the maximum benefit for their shareholders. And when that's the model that they're stuck with as a public company, that's what they have to do. And anybody that says, oh, well, they should just be able to lower the prices, and it's nonsensical. It's a great soundbite by the current administration, but it is not something that is feasible. And if the current CEO said, hey, we're going to start charging less money, he's probably not going to be there very long, because the board's going to can him, and then you're going to have somebody in there that's going to do exactly what the board wants, which is what they're supposed to do, which is to maximize shareholder value. That's it, sir.
You done?
I'm done. I'm done.
Maybe
I almost made it 2 minutes. There's no joke. That was a perfect layup for a joke. You just missed it.
I almost screwed up the clock again.
Well, that's normal.
Well, that's me.
Can you even see that far?
Personal attacks, because he has no argument. But here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you why, and I actually prepared for the other side. Let me go ahead and tell you why big oil is to blame for why we're paying $5 a gallon. Record profits. Now, everything that Mr. Gatling and Big Oil is saying is that, we're the innocent, we're just the middlemen, we don't do this, we didn't invade Russia. That would all be great and fine, except they're making record profits. If they were just the middleman, they wouldn't be making record profits. Everything, I understand about the Russian sanctions. I understand about the pandemic. I understand about the low supply. I understand about them converting to electric and not fully investing in oil. I understand restrictions in environmental trying to convert to greener solutions or transportations. All valid reasons. Record profits after a pandemic. If they were just passing it on, they'd be like, we're making a decent living, but we're not doing it. They're making record profits because they had record losses during the pandemic, and they don't care about us. So, yes, I don't want them to lower the price of crude, which is beyond them. What I want them to do is not make a record profit and then say all those factors like they're not making and admitting. They literally say it in the same sentence. And we're afraid to regulate them because they're some of the most powerful companies in the world. They're some of the most political companies in the world. There's a letter going around Facebook, what a vice president of BP thinks about the Biden administration. If you think a vice president of the oil company has to write a letter to the president, you're too stupid to watch this show. Flip it back. Go watch some reality show. They make appointments. They call his cell phone. They control the world. So yes, they need to be regulated like I need to be regulated if I was charging record profits during Katrina. We have to get to a place in society where white, black, men, women, yellow, green, whatever, any companies are treated the same. And if during the water issue if I was charging record profits for water in Jackson, I should be indicted. And the fact that the oil companies are charging record profits after a pandemic, they should face the same reasoning. Thank you very much. It's a closing argument, son.
You just lost. That was a bunch of rambling nonsense.
I wish it was. I wish maybe some of the commentators can give me a little heat. I mean, Jaleesa's Michael, you're not allowed to pull Reggie, sir. Sorry.
I don't know what he's talking about. He's trying to fire me from an unpaid position.
This is Floyd A. Lewis.
It's like, how you get fired on your day off? I don't know.
This is unproductive. Floyd A. Lewis is a critic of mine. Why this is unproductive chatter? I would argue, Mr. Lewis, you don't know what chatter is. Why is Hazzard always yelling? It's called passion. Maybe I'm the only one who has passion here tonight.
Or maybe you just lack voice modulation.
Oh, look at you go. I mean, I wish you put as much work in these arguments as you did these vocabulary. Next topic, January 6th hearing. My understanding is I'm saying that the January 6th hearing is a good thing, and you're saying it's not.
Yes.
Okay.
We're on the same page, Mr. Hazzard.
Shockingly. Maybe we should do a production meeting. If Jaleesa was here, our producer, we might go as well.
Are you gonna? You go first this time.
I'm going first.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Jesus.
I mean, I understand how this works. I get it.
I know.
I'm delivering. Ladies and
Ears
gentlemen,
are ringing.
excuse me. Got to set the clock. If you're wondering why we chose 3 minutes, social media, most social media videos are 3 minutes, and we got to make it easy for our producers. Shots fired. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you why the January 6th hearing is not a waste of our time as a country. First of all, I'll go ahead and admit it's a show trial. It's production. It's Hollywood. It won't change anybody's opinion of what happened on January 6th. It won't change one vote on what happened on January 6th. It won't change one opinion about President Trump. But it's a perfect response to what happened on January 6th. First of all, let me go ahead and say this for Mississippi. I don't care if you're JSU football on SI cover. I don't care if you're Mississippi State baseball winning the national championship. When anybody from Mississippi gets national exposure and sounds intelligent and articulate, it's a plus for the state. It's a plus for me. Congressman Thompson is coming across very well. He's coming from a position of power of chairing the committee, and he's making a very, very, very sound and intelligent observations backed by videotape evidence and testimony. But he's doing us proud. Whether you like him or not, it shows the state of Mississippi is capable of leading something instead of coming in last. But let me go ahead and say, transitioning from my own local prejudice of having a spotlight on Mississippi, this is why the January 6th hearings are perfect for what happened on January 6th. It is a national spotlight saying that the narcissist lost. And when you're dealing with a narcissist like President Trump, exposure, while I'll watch a couple of minutes, or I watched 30 minutes of the first night. I haven't watched anything else. I haven't really paid attention because it's not going to change my mind. I know exactly what happened. I know for a fact Trump is obsessed with this. I know for a fact that narcissist cannot help but get furious about this. I know for a fact that it is bothering him. But more importantly, it's reminding us all that it's not our successes that should define us. It's how we deal with loss as society. That is going to be our true measure. And let's be honest, and let me go ahead and say this. I don't think Trump was a perfect president. Far from it. But I think he was a perfect president for us because we're getting to a point where we're all narcissists. And if we're going to live in YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, we're going to have to acknowledge our losses and our worst days if we're going to promote our best.
All right.
Are you ready to begin?
I think I am.
I don't know. I'm going to start you over because we had some laughter in the audience, which I didn't know we had a studio audience. But I'll let you start over to be fair because it was distracting.
It's okay. All right. So, to me, it's a couple key things that are in play here that why the January 6th hearings are. I mean, it's kind of a farce. Number one, I don't know if people understand this. It's just a group of House members. It is bipartisan, but I think there's 2 Republicans and the remainder are Democrats. There is no Senate panel that is, I guess, will be a contemporary of them. It's just the House members. All they can do, the best that they can do as a result of anything that they find during their investigation, or if you call it an investigation, is to merely make a recommendation as to charges for DOJ. DOJ can take it or leave it. But at the same time, DOJ has already been looking into this and looking for evidence that, I guess that Trump was somehow committing treason or whatever the various things they're investigating. If there was anything that they would have found, they would have, number one, told that committee, hey, get out of our way so we can go ahead and start issuing our own subpoenas and contacted witnesses and not let y'all muddy the water. Right now, this committee, if there was anything that could be investigated, they're kind of trouncing over the investigation that could be done by the DOJ. Next thing is it's political theater. I mean, the witnesses that come in, they use the words that they describe it, the terror. It was led by a shirtless shaman with a pair of antlers on his head with a
QAnon shaman.
Yeah, QAnon shaman. It's hard for me to think anything like that is that serious, but I mean, obviously it was a very serious issue or event in our political history. Not the first time that's happened, but definitely one of the most memorable, at least by the characters that were in play. But regardless, at the end of the day, this whole thing is going to an effort by the Democrats to try to save the midterms, which could be in play because after the committee meets and they complete their investigation, they'll release a report. That report will come out in September, which will be a couple of months before the midterm elections, with the hope that they can sway voters to continue to vote Democrat. The only other thing, though, is one of the issues that I think they have is they're keeping Trump in the limelight. If you really want to get rid of the guy, don't do this, because he feeds off of it. And he wants that, and he wants to continue to stay in the limelight. He wants to stay at the forefront. And as long as they continue to do this, you're feeding into his ego, because he has a talking point. If it's ignored, it will stop. And I, for one, wish that would stop. But that's just my opinion.
You know what? You're still lacking low energy, but that was your best argument so far. I'll give you a C minus. C minus. Is that trying to be a soundtrack in there, producer, or are you just watching
That's
something?
Right.
Can they hear it on the show? Okay. I'm just
funny.
trying to figure out what is going on. But C minus, you were F. You're getting there. What was your GPA undergrad? What was your undergrad?
Oh, my God, it's terrible.
What was it?
I was like a 3.2, 3.3.
I was a 3.4. How was that terrible?
Well, it should have been higher.
What was your you want to speak up at least?
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Undergrad major was chemical engineering and zoology.
At North Carolina State, correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's not easy. So, I mean, what I'm saying is you're failing tonight, but you've had a couple successes somewhere in your life at one point. I tell you what, I'm not having a success. It's trying to figure out how to do this.
I mean, it's painful watching you run the timer.
It's literally
it's really painful.
It's literally one of the few things I'm not doing well tonight. But as soon as I figure out now, do you want to take it over, big man? Because
yeah, I think I could figure out how to work it.
3 minutes.
Let's see.
But anyway,
Set.
my understanding.
I hit one button. Boom. Look at that.
It's not.
Got it right.
It's blinking. You're going to have to reset.
All I have to do is hit start.
Okay. My understanding is I'm talking about we're going to Phil Bryant and Brett Favre and why they should be indicted. And I'm taking the position that they should be indicted, correct?
Yes. Hey, producer. He screwed this up.
No, I got it.
Oh, we got to take a break.
Is it time for a commercial, producer? Yeah. Right. We've got to take a break. We'll be right back whether Brett Favre and Phil Bryant should be indicted.
SocratesGarrettENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.Dot grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. By using SocratesGarrettENT.com's crushed concrete products, anyone from homeowners to general contractors can help reduce landfilled concrete waste, conserve natural resources, and gain significant economic savings on materials and disposal costs. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the We Believe Global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at webelieve.global.
We're back. It's the Brent Hazzard Show with Mike Gatling. We're trying a new format, a little bit more debate. Well, I thought it was going to be more debate. Mike thought it was going to be something you listened to while you went to bed. But I will have to say, once we got rid of Jaleesa, the producer, we've got sound effects now.
I think that's great.
I think we saw who was the dead weight. Moving
Me?
on.
I thought you always said I was the dead weight.
No, you're Rudy.
Oh.
Rudy wasn't dead weight. He just tried hard.
Oh, he's just
limited. Okay. But
well, you could call me like Xanax or something. I could have a cool nickname. No.
Okay.
That was
Floyd A. Lewis, who I don't know. Brent chatters talking rapidly or incessantly about trivial matters. Talk about Mississippi issues, how we can make Mississippi better. That's the most boring thing, Floyd, you can do. Because to take Mississippi better, we would have to have a reality check, and you can take several of these topics and hold people accountable. Everybody knows how to make Mississippi better. No one wants to do the work. If you want to make Mississippi better, or start with Jackson, 12-month school years. If you want to make Mississippi better, start banishing people after the third offense. Or if you want to make Mississippi better, you make sure that PTA meetings are staffed. If you want to make Mississippi better, you start holding people accountable civilly, because we can't do it criminally, but there's a law, Kenny Stokes wants to provide it, where you hold parents accountable for their wrongs their children have done. If they're indigent, means broke, you make them do community service until we have accountability on all levels. No one wants that. The country doesn't want that. But we're the fattest, dumbest state in the union for a reason, because we choose to be. Moving on.
Come on.
I'm waiting for
you said you're
Bryant. You're first.
Well, you're the host. You got to say what it is.
Should Phil Bryant and Brett Favre be indicted?
Now you're saying should, or
you're taking the position they should not be indicted.
Correct.
Let's hear that position, Mr. Gatling.
There's a couple of different reasons for this. Number one, with regard to Phil, or Mr. Bryant, Governor Bryant, I should say. Number one, you had to start the timer.
I'm just glad you're talking.
Just glad you can use the remote.
Ooh.
That was a good one. So, with regard to Governor Bryant, number one, I've seen no evidence that he did anything wrong. There's been a lot of chatter around him that guys like you have been clamoring for him to be indicted left and right. But if there was any evidence whatsoever that he did anything wrong, I mean, as a Republican governor of a red state, the current administration would have him served up on a silver platter. There's absolutely no way, if evidence existed, that it would not be pursued. There's just no way. And you got a Democrat district attorney that has also not pursued anything against Governor Bryant. And again, if there was anything there, he would be a trophy for the Biden administration. And the fact that nothing's happened makes me think, hey, there's just nothing there. With regard to Brett Favre, again, what did he do? Did he do anything wrong? He assisted in the startup of an anti-concussion company. He was able to secure funds that had previously been state funds that were given to him by the state or state agencies or nonprofits that had received those funds. At that point, once it goes to the nonprofit, what's he supposed to do? Does he care where the funds came from? If they came from the nonprofit, it seems to me like that's a legal transaction, and he can do with the money what he told the nonprofit he was going to do, which is possibly build a $5 million volleyball facility at Southern Miss, and also assist again in building this anti-concussion company, which to me sounds like a good idea. I mean, I think a lot of our former sports stars are afflicted with conditions, and while they were gladiators for us on the field and entertainers, no one wants to take care of them when they get off the field and make sure that they don't end up shooting up a school or killing their families. So in any event, I think I've made my points.
Wow. It's just. Let me just go ahead and help you out here. One of the issues why I would not indict them, and the reason they're not being indicted, is because you wouldn't get 12 Mississippians to agree and to convict them for political or popular reasons. That's why the federal. Well, I'm getting into my topic, but I thought you missed that one. But anyway, moving on. Why Mr. Bryant and Mr. Favre should be indicted for the welfare fraud. First of all you got to do is look at the complaint filed by the Republican Attorney General, Lynn Fitch, in her 67-page lawsuit that they're suing Mr. Favre, but not Mr. Bryant. It's one of the situations. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Now, they should be indicted federally because they were stealing federal funds from welfare recipients. It's documented, it's known, but more importantly, if their name was Brent Hazzard, the indictment would already be in place. They should be indicted federally because we have to hold everybody for the same standard, as I've said before and I've said previously. Now let's talk transition. One of the problems where you're not going to get that is we don't have a federal U.S. attorney. The Biden administration does not care enough about Mississippi to appoint a U.S. attorney. And we have a former city of Clinton judge, Darren LaMarca, who I hear is actually a very nice person. I don't know him personally, but he's a Republican. And let's go ahead and say it. These people aren't Democrats. These people aren't poor. These people aren't black. I think if they were either one of those three, they would be indicted federally. Now, do I think these issues are being discussed that, we're going to let the white people go? No, I don't think it's that blatant, but I think there's a subconscious level. But truly, I think the federals are worried about conviction rates, and they won't be able to get a conviction because the federal district is a lot of Republicans. It's not the metro area. Now let's go to Hinds County. And let me go ahead and preference this. I cannot talk about Tony Johnson's case because I represented her civilly on some matters, and I have to protect her attorney-client privilege, which says, but I will ask a question. Why does Tony Johnson have to answer for her alleged sins, and Phil Bryant and Brett Favre do not? Is it because they're Republican, but they're in Hinds County facing a Hinds County district attorney? Is it because they're men? Is it because they're rich? Or is it because they're white? Because it's got to be something about that. Because I've seen the indictment that Ms. Johnson is facing, and it's nowhere near 67 pages. It's not an 11-part story in the Mississippi Today. Let me make this clear. We need to start holding people of all colors, all shapes, all sizes accountable. But more importantly, in Hinds County, a black person needs to start holding white people to the same standard that the white people hold the black people to. Is this even close anymore? It's just, do we need to just call this a TKO?
I mean, the one point you did make was silly. If you were a prosecutor, yeah, you would indict both of these guys. It doesn't matter if it goes anywhere.
But the reason they're not being indicted is because they're worried about their conviction. The feds have all the information. The reason they didn't indict Trent Lott when they indicted Dickie Scruggs, and Trent Lott made the call. Am I speaking erroneous when I say that government officials are given the option to retire instead of being indicted? Members of the bar are given the option usually to turn in their license than get indicted.
There's some truth to that.
Because the rule of thumb is you never want to fight an attorney. There were several attorney scandals since you and I have lived in Jackson, and the rumor is you don't want an attorney. Take a gentleman named Michael Watts. Michael Watts was indicted. He was the number one white attorney from Houston, Texas. He was the number one largest donor of Barack Obama. Period. Nationwide. Not a Texas, not a Mississippi. He spells it Mikhail. Mikhail used to be on the Mississippi listserv of Mississippi. I know him a little bit. He wouldn't know who I am. But he got indicted for forging Vietnamese or Korean Vietnamese fishermen on BP. They had to transfer him. They didn't want to try him in Houston because he was too well known. They didn't want to try him in New Orleans because of BP. Everybody hated BP and no one cared. And so they tried him in Gulfport. John Dowdy was the prosecutor that tried it, and Michael Watts says, I want to speak to the jury, and the judge says, you have an attorney. Michael Watts turns to his attorney and said, you're fired. And they convicted the black preacher man. They convicted the Vietnamese lawyer that signed them all up. Michael Watts got off because Michael did his own closing and opening, and Michael's brother got off. That's why they don't want to indict lawyers or charge lawyers if they can avoid it. And the reason they don't want to charge a politician like Phil Bryant is they won the popular vote. Is there any question that if we got a jury of Mississippians, not Hinds County, but Mississippians, that someone would be screaming fake news?
No, 100%.
And that, if you're indicting Phil Bryant, what percentage do you give Donald Trump coming down here and defending him? Into a speech or something.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably high 80s.
Oh yes, yeah. I think it would be fake news, and I think it'd just be a hung jury. So economically, in reality, you're not going to convict them, but I would indict them to send the right message.
All right.
Should we just wrap this up right now?
No.
We have gun control.
We're coming up. So you're the host. It says Brent Hazzard Show. It should say the Brent Hazzard Yelling Show.
I've had to lower my energy because I felt like, I really
You have not lowered anything.
Malcolm had texted me, he called DHS because I'm beating up a child in here. And he's videotaping it. He's worried about them videotaping child abuse.
Introduce the next topic.
Gun control. And
All right.
what side?
Okay, I'm taking the position no gun control.
Gun control is not needed.
Correct.
Go ahead and give us your 30 seconds. We've got
All right, start the timer.
Start it.
Invalid. All right, so a couple things. Some background on gun control. In 1994, and Biden was one of the people that actually helped pass this legislation, there was the assault ban act that came into effect. So it was in effect from 94 to 2004. During that period, the ban consisted of around 118 different types of firearms, could not possess or manufacture those. And then there was also a ban on clips that exceeded 10 rounds. During that time period, mass shootings, as they're defined, including school shootings, stayed relatively the same. There were 1.5 million of these weapons that were out in public circulation, and the act allowed the people that had them to continue to have them. During that time, again, there was no measurable change in the amount of mass shootings, and especially considering that there were millions of these weapons already in people's hands. Now, in 2004, the ban or the act, I guess it sunsetted, and that was the end of that act. And by 2019, I think we had somewhat like a 4-time. I think the rate of mass shootings went up around 4 times what it was during the provisions of the assault ban. Studies that they did trying to find a cause and effect on the increase in the number of mass shootings versus the sunsetting of the ban on assault weapons, they could not find any cause and effect. Actually, what they did find that was the most effective deterrent was to either limit magazine, like really limit the number of bullets that a magazine can hold at much lower than 10. They found that was effective in different studies. And again, but the ban on assault weapons, they could not find that there was any cause and effect as far as decreasing the number of mass shootings. That's the first point I'd make. Number two, banning guns doesn't change human nature. It also doesn't change the mental health crisis that we have in this country. We need to have ways and means to get people treatment or have them, looked at by, law enforcement and the psychiatric community without there being some risk of recourse back on you, either civilly or otherwise. There needs to be some sort of way that you can, hey, little Johnny over there's demonstrating some very antisocial tendencies and needs to be looked at. You need to be able to make those referrals in schools, and that's a mechanism that we just don't have right now. And I think we need to improve the mental health and the way that we evaluate mentally diseased people before we start banning weapons, because I don't think it's going to change anything.
Done?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
It's the 3 minutes, right?
Oh, yeah.
How'd you break it again?
I didn't break it again.
Break it again.
There we go. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and say this, and I keep my arguments very simple. You have one country that you can buy an assault weapon and you don't really have gun control, and then you have the rest of the population. And the rest of the population doesn't have these mass murders. The rest of the population doesn't have, and they're increasing how many are we averaging now? 2, 3 a week? And it goes back to the narcissism of we want instant gratification. We don't get it. It's too easy to go get a gun and go around and start shooting innocents. 2, let's go to the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, the gentleman who wrote the Second Amendment, Thomas Jefferson, said every generation should write its own, tear up the Constitution and rewrite it. Back when the Second Amendment was drafted, you literally had to use a musket and load it up, pack it down, take it, shoot it, then load it up again. They didn't have guns that could shoot, 50 shots in 50 seconds. So I'm a proud gun owner. I have pistols, I have shotguns, I have a 223 with a 30-shot clip. Those should not be your first guns. You should not be able to purchase those guns unless you have a history of going somewhere and learning how to shoot. That would be reasonable gun control. Someone walking in on the first day, I want an AR-15 and a 30-shot clip, is insanity. You should be able to buy a shotgun for your protection. You can do more damage in a shotgun than most times you can with an AR-15, but you're not going to be able to sit there and shoot it with 50 shots. You can defend any home you want with a 12-gauge shotgun. And statistically, dogs defend more homes than guns. So we are hung up. The bottom line is why there's no gun control in the United States of America is because of profit. Is that 10% of any market buys, or 20% of any market, I missaid it, buys 80% of the product. These gun nuts are sitting there buying these guns and weapons, waiting for Armageddon. And they don't want to end that because it would hurt the gun manufacturers' profits. That has turned the NRA into a lobbying group, organization. That's all this is about, money. You can still protect yourself. You can still do anything you want to. You just shouldn't have a right to go buy an AR-15. It's not that hard. We're gonna wrap it up there. It's something new. We're trying. We're experimenting. Probably need to get rid of Rudy. But anyway, let's wrap up with some comments and then we'll call it a show. I say we will. I've got to find the show first. I do not like some of this. And one of the reasons we're going through the 3-minute format, it makes it easier to use on, I said we're going to find it. It is on the side now. I had to see that. If I watch it, I'm going to have to listen to it.
Just mute it.
Once again, I'm glad we're doing this live.
We're trying. We're experimenting.
See, I moved. You saw it. I'm glad we're sitting here doing this on live air. It's professional. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week. We're still trying to find ourselves. It's a Brent Hazzard show. He's Mike Gatling. I'm Brent Hazzard, better known as Chewbacca and Robin. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the We Believe Global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at WeBelieve.